Hello, everybody. I am Christina Taylor. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from North Canton, Ohio on this beautiful June day. I mean, I know you can't see outside because I don't have any windows in my stamp studio, but it is gorgeous outside. So I hope you are enjoying the day. I'm so glad that you joined in for this craft along kit to go for the creativity in bloom. I'm really excited about these projects and excited to share them with you. I would love to hear your feedback on which ones you liked best, what you liked about the projects. And I think that's about it. With all the YouTube logistics and things like that, if you will remember to like this video and hit that subscribe button so you get notifications when I have new classes that I've uploaded to my channel so that you can continue to explore creativity on your own. And as always, I'm always here to help in any capacity that you need me. So I'm going to flip the camera down. We're going to start at the tabletop. I'm going to give you a brief look at the projects that we're doing. We'll talk about some things and then we'll just go ahead and get started stamping. All right, let me switch the camera over here. There we go. Okay, let me add a little extra light on there. There we go. That's a little brighter. Okay. All right. So here's a peek at the projects that we're doing today. Just giving you a little peek right here. So I'm going to just clear those off, talk about a little bit about what's in front of us there, and then we'll get started stamping. So as many of you know, this is the new Stampin' Up! Catalog, came out in May, and it's full of delightfully creative things, as well as we just had some online exclusives come out in May as well. The Last Chance list, which is our retired section, that was a restocked, refreshed. A couple of the things we're using today are actually on that. I'll try to mention it when I'm using them because you could grab those bargains while they last. If you need a copy of this catalog, just reach out to me and let me know. I typically will always have them in my little drop-off pickup house that you can swing by and get one too. Uh, if you are familiar with our product of the month, Stampin' Up! Started this back in December. So for every $75 that you order in product, you can opt to choose the product of the month. And they are available while supplies last. Once that product sells out, there's no replenishing it. And there's a product each month. So this happens to be the product for June. I want to be able to get the little critters on there. So you've got a penguin, a koala, a little snail, and this little cow. So cute. And some great accent background pieces, and then some nice sentiments too. So you can choose the stamp set for only $5 with your $75 purchase. So that's kind of cool. We're also going to be using the paper that was available in May as a product of the month. And last I checked, that was still available. So if you did not get that in May, you can always order online and opt to select the May product. And then if you're like, hey, I've got enough that I want to get both products of the month, you do have to do two separate orders. You can't do like 150 and get two products of the month. It has to be like the around $75. And then you can select one, you can go back in and place another order and get the other product of the month too. So that is a nice feature allowing you to grab those bargains. Okay, let me put these things aside and we're going to go ahead and get started stamping. Okay, I went ahead and set all these supplies up so you didn't have to hear me get all discombobulated with everything that I needed to bring in here. Okay, so this first project we're going to do is featuring this card here. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get that right on the camera there. So we're using some fun texture on the background for the embossing folder, some of this new paper with the flocking on it, and a fun block pattern, which is extremely popular. If you have been online, you have seen this pattern used with DSP. It is a great way to use your designer series paper and just a fun um, pattern feature on the card as well. Then I'm using some embossed and die cut sentiments, as well as these little extra die cuts that come in that die cutting set, which I'll show you in just a little bit, and some accent pearls. Okay, so we've got that fun card here. I'm going to set that aside and share with you what we're using on this project. So we're using our Peaceful Pine, which is the new in color, and Bubble Bath. We are using the Fern and Flora 3D embossing folder. I'm using the Friendly Foliage stamp set, and I have taken these two images out because I felt like they were reflective of the paper, and we're going to use those to do a little stamping on the inside. This is a great stamp set, also comes with a set of dies too. You can find that online. Then we are using the Thoughtful Moments hybrid embossing folder and die. So, well, when I say hybrid embossing folder, that means it's an embossing folder that also comes with a die. So you use this die to be able to die cut all of these sentiments out. And this is currently on the last chance list for $19. It's normally 35 or 36, something right around there, mid 30s. Anyway, you can grab it for like half off. It is a fabulous steal. As you can see, I tend to cut a bunch of different colors out. I have all these sentiments in here, and then I can just grab them when I need a particular one and whatever color might work for my project. So I'm super sad to see this go. But like if you don't have this in your creative collection, hop on over to the last chance list and grab it. So, and then we are using the Velvet Meadow specialty paper. So let me bring this in here. So I only have these two strips left of these two sheets. So this is what they look like on each sheet, only it was a full 12 by 12. This is literally all I have left of these. And then it's got some basic beige on the back. So I'm going to put those aside. And then these are the two that I used on the project. And it's got this great flocking. You can feel that on there, that nice, beautiful texture. And it has just some cloud cover, very light designer series paper on the back. And then these last two, this would make some great card fronts. I haven't explored this one yet, but very easy to just cut a card front and put a sentiment on it. You've got that top and bottom there. And then this beautiful one with all this flocking on it too. This would actually really make a beautiful sympathy card, but also a wedding card. I mean, kind of like sad, happy, sad occasion, but the color palette is so delicate and soft. So that is featured in the new catalog. All right, so I'm going to come back in with the card and just share with you. So everything is put flush on the card except for our sentiment. I put that on with some dimensionals, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, let me share with you the supplies that we have. So of course we have our basic white envelope. We've got a piece of Peaceful Pine that is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25 with the Simply Scored tool. Then I've got a piece of basic white that's 4 by 5.25. I have gone ahead and embossed that with the Flora and Fern and Flora embossing folder, so you can see all that great texture on there. Then we've got an inside layer that is you know what? I don't think I took a measurement for the inside layer. So this is good that I'm looking at this because I think I need to, it might be a different size. That looks a little bigger. Okay, I grabbed a piece that is 3.5 by 5. We're gonna roll with it because I'm pretty sure that's what I cut for the kids too. And then we have got, I think, a total of 9 pieces of 9, 10 pieces of the designer series paper, and I've cut those into 1 inch squares. So yeah, a total of 9. So these are some of the sentiments that I um, had at class for the ladies to choose from. So you had celebrate, thinking of you, thank you, get well, sympathy, just because. And they could choose whichever one they wanted for the card. I think this card would lend itself to any of those occasions. Celebrate, you could use anything from anniversary, birthday, job promotion, whatever the celebration may be. So I am going to see, which one do I want to do? I don't know. I'll set them aside and we'll come back to that. So I've got those to choose from. And then also, so let me grab that little set of dies. So in this set of dies, besides the die cutting all the words out, you also get these little embellishment dies. So a rainbow, some hearts, there's another rainbow. This is to make little tabs, and then some stars. So those come in the die set. Plus you get this one for double leaves, which we're using on there, and then these little flowers. So you could have, there's one that's slightly smaller and a little bit larger, but these 3 dies come in that set as well. So you'll find those in your craft along kit. They will be stuck to a purple sticky note in your kit. So that's where you'll find all those little embellishments for the dies. All right, we're going to go ahead and do a little stamping here first on the inside layer. And see that there. I'm going to just grab these little stems here. And I'm going to use this one for pink. Let me grab my scrap paper because I don't have this covered. And it's very light. I thought maybe, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to get a little bit more on camera there. I thought I could maybe stamp it just once and stamp it off, but that wasn't working. Okay, let me leave that there. We're going to do a couple little green ones. That gives a nice little interest on the bottom. Oh, I do need to change my position because I am off camera when I'm stamping there. So let me come back to that a little bit. Okay, so we've got that inside layer stamped. And then we'll do a little bit on our envelope as well. Okay. Come in with that bubble bath and that longer stem. Yeah, we'll do it in the front there. And some peaceful pine. Okay, so we've got our envelope done. We've got our inside layer done. Set those aside. That is all the stamping we're going to do. So I'm going to close the ink pads up and get my stamps cleaned off. There's my chamois here. Clean that off. Okay. And when we're ready to do a little assembling, so let me make sure I'm in the camera shot. I apologize for not being quite on there. We're going to fold that at the score line, fold that in half, and just use our bone folder to flatten that crease, make it nice and crisp. And we're going to go ahead and put our front piece on here, but we want to do our layering pattern first. So let me bring this back in the shot so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. So the best way I can tell you to do this is what worked for me, is I just started taking my pattern, kind of trying to create it, just giving myself an idea of where I wanted to put things. So once you kind of get a couple in place, then you can kind of play with it and determine which you want to do, how you want to put them. I'll go like that and like that. Okay, so obviously it's a little wonky there right now, but that's going to give me the general guidance of where I want to go, and I can straighten it out as I go. So doing this, I want to be able to use liquid adhesive. Now I'm going to turn it just a little bit like this because this is going to work for me as far as putting things down. I'm just going to put a little adhesive on the back side of that first square here. And this is where I'm going to start. This does not mean this is where you have to start, but my brain works like this. Okay. So I'm just gonna put some adhesive on each one, and I'm giving it about 1/8 of an inch in between the squares. Now this one's going to hang over a little bit, and that's totally fine. We'll, trim it off at the end before we put that layer on. That's why it's important for you to get this layering done with the little squares to create that grid before you put it on your card front, so that way you can easily trim the edges. Okay. I'm gonna have a little extra adhesive sitting on my mat. Hang on just a second. Let me grab my silicone mat. Well, maybe I will, maybe I won't if I can find it. Okay, sorry about that. I had to walk over to my other desk area. Okay. I grabbed my silicone mat because then I can set it on there and I can just rub the glue right off. I didn't want to get that on my glass tabletop. Sorry about that. This one in place. And this one. Okay, so we've got those all in place. We're going to just flip our cardstock over, take our snips, which we have new snips coming out. So if you've been waiting for a new pair, they're coming out and they're only going to be $10. They're cheaper than the paper snips, these that we had before, but just as good. So that's cool. Okay. Get those out of the way. All right, so we've got our grid pattern there, mimicking this one. And then we want to go ahead and put that on our card front. So I'll come back in with some liquid adhesive because we've got all those embossed nooks and crannies. So we want to really get some nice adhesive in there and just center that on our card front. Do the same with some glue for our inside layer and center that within the card. Okay, so now I've got that part together. I need to kind of choose a sentiment and get my little embellishments here. So let me get my take your pick tool. That's going to be a whole heck of a lot easier to get these little flowers out. So that one, that one. Oh my gosh, I'm off camera here. I need to adjust my position of my camera when um, I'm so sorry that I wasn't on camera. So I just used this die here and then this little leaf one, and those were already die cut for me. And then let's see, I did a thinking of you. Celebrate. That celebrate looks nice. Oh, get well is nice too. I'm gonna go do a get well one. I think any of them would look great in there because it pops the color that's in the That one is nice too, the just because. Let's do that one. I need to stop picking different ones because I'll keep changing my mind. I think because they all look nice. Okay, so I've got some mini dimensionals here that I'm gonna trim the edges off so I can put that on with some dimensionals. And we'll put 3 on this one because it's long and slim. Get that. All right. So I'm just going to kind of put that right in the break of the blocks on there. I like what that works for like my eye when I look at it. I like where it comes together there. You can put it wherever you might like. And then I don't have my glue dots over here, so I'm just going to go ahead and position a little bit of liquid glue. And I'll just put them kind of in the spots that I put the other ones. And let's come in there with some gems. And I had to cut for kits here, so I'm going to see what I've got left over here and just put these on here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the gems on so that when I put them down on the card, they're ready to go. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's stuck to my finger there. Okay. Oh, get my take your pick tool again. I need to get a little bit more putty out there. It was like, there we go. Oh, I gotta put these little guys down. I can't. Oh my goodness, Christina, what are you doing? I have to put these stems on here before I can put a blossom by it. So we're gonna go right there. Oh my goodness, did you just hear that? I don't even know if you can hear it on the camera, that big thud, the neighbors. Um, I guess they're cleaning their garage and just decided to throw everything away as opposed to, I don't know, maybe donating it. I think I'm just from the mindset of like if it still has purpose, like you should donate it and let somebody else use it and get it for free or next to nothing. Anyway, I put those little stems down and then I'm setting my blossoms on top of that. But I don't know, they must have just dropped something big in there because it was a loud thud. Not sure if you heard it or not, but it shook a little bit down here, so I don't really know what they dropped in there. Anyway, okay, let me put these aside, these little sentiments, and we'll come back in. So we've got a thinking of you, and we've got a just because, and then there's our envelope to go along with that first project. All right, let me know in the comments below what you think of that one. I'd love to get your feedback. And I will get the supplies and we'll come in with the next project here and we'll start another one. Okay, this is our next project. This technique is called color blocking. So you can see the very strong contrast with the black and white and the pop of color in the blocks of color, the strips of color. And then you just use a black or white, black and white die cut to get that extra pop to kind of go along with the color palette of the card. So, excuse me, I want to show you how to make this simple card with this fun technique. All right, and what we are using to create this. So we're using Memento Black ink. I know a lot of you have it. Stampin' Up! Has a new hybrid black ink now. I love the Memento. I love the StazOn, so I'm just kind of continuing to use those, but the hybrid black ink will be a wonderful choice for you if you need a black ink. And then Pool Party, as far as an additional ink, we're going to do a little stamping on the inside and on our envelope. The stamp set that I'm using is Flowers Fair. We've used this one before. I love the delicateness of this background stamp. I love the versatility. You can stamp it just as it is, like what we're doing today, and do a fun technique with it. You can stamp it and color it in. There's a lot that you can do with the stamp. I've used it a lot, so I know you know that. Um, and then I've gone ahead and pulled some older die cuts just because I needed words. I needed to have them for class. I know a lot of ladies have die cut words, and I just wanted to offer them a variety. So we have some that are current too, but not really what I was looking for to offer the variety to the ladies at class. So if you're looking online trying to search these dies to find them, this one is wanted to say dies. And this one is just a simple thank you die cut. So I have die cut those for class, and the ladies were able to choose which one they wanted. And then I've grabbed this flower out of the Inspiring Imperfections stamp set. This is actually on the clearance rack or last chance list, sorry. And I think it was like $9 for the stamp set. It's a deal because the sentiments alone are really great. But these images are nice to work with too and add a nice little artistic touch to your projects. And then we're using the Stamparatus. Of course, we have a new Stampin' Positioner, Stampin' Up! Does. I have this one. This is the one I use. I love it. It works fine for me. If you don't have a Stampin' Positioner, the one that Stampin' Up! Came out with would be great. I definitely think a positioner is a good investment. It helps ease with your stamping as you're doing techniques, particularly something like this where you need something to be in the same position. So. I've got the Flowers Fair stamp already mounted on there. The supplies that we're using, we've got our basic white envelope. We've got a piece of Pool Party that's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. And then we have a piece of basic white and Pool Party. Those are 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So it's just barely smaller than our card front. You want them to be, I wanted them to encompass most of the card. And then you've got a piece for the inside of your card that is 3.5 by 5. And like I said, I went ahead and die cut a variety of different sentiments. We had the happy birthday, the thank you, which most everyone used at class. And then I did do some feel better soon ones for like a get well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one on this project here. I do see some little pieces still in those dies. So let me just get those out before we get started because those little guys will need to come out of there. And I'm just using my Take Your Pick tool to pop those out. Okay. Take those off of there and we'll set that right up there. Okay, so we are going to start by using using the Stamparatus. And I hope that I have put this back in the right position. So we're going to see together. It could be a surprise for both of us, or all of us, I guess I should say. All right, so I'm going to try to put it here at an angle because let me go like that. So at class, I had, let me put this piece of paper in there. A little line here telling them to put your left margin right up against this line, your bottom margin right down to the bottom, and your corner, which you can't see here, your corner, little arrow there saying, hey, put the corner of your cardstock right here. All right, we're going to give this a try. And if I didn't put it back on correctly, well, we'll figure it out together, won't we? All right, so I'm going to press that down and get my Memento Black ink, and I'm just going to go ahead and ink my background stamp. Okay. And then shut that. And I'm going to come in here with my little handle. If you're interested in getting one of these for your stamp positioner, my husband makes them and is selling them. You know what? I haven't, he's supposed to be making them. He hasn't told me how much they were, but I'm certain they're going to be less than $10. I'm thinking like 5 or 7 if I had to guess. But obviously I'll have to ask Roger on that one. Okay, so I'm just rubbing that around to transfer that image. And yeah, that transferred really well, I think. So I like that. I'm going to pull that off. Okay, so I've got this pattern. Now I need to do that exact same thing with my pool party piece. So again, I'm going to line it up on the bottom, line it up with the left margin. I'm going to press it down on that. I have like some repositionable tape on there. So, and I'm going to ink that stamp again. Okay. Go ahead and close it. Let's hope I do it right again. And press that down. Okay. Bring that up. Yeah, that's a good transfer. Everything transferred over well. I think that'll look just fine. So we'll take that off. I'm going to go ahead and take the Stamparatus out of the way. Okay, so at class, in the class packets, you had 2 white and just 1 blue because we're cutting that in strips and using it on both cards. So I'm just making 1 card today, but at class, that's what the ladies did. And so what you're gonna do is grab your paper cutter. Okay. So we're not cutting this piece. I'm going to set that aside. We're going to cut this piece. And you can see I used 1 piece for both cards. If I set them kind of like side by side, you can see where this would slide over into that white area, same at the top, and fill up the cardstock piece. So the strips are not cut evenly. In fact, you don't want them to be even. You want to give it like a little variation. All right, so let me go ahead and start by just cutting. We're just going to do 1, 2, I'll do a 3/4 inch. Whoops, let me get mine. Okay, so I've got that strip. And then the next one, we'll do say, oh, I don't know, an inch and an eighth. I mean, there's really like no right or wrong way to do this. So I'm just going to cut that. Then we'll do a little bit bigger again. Let's see. Oh, I need to get 3 pieces out of here because I need 3 for each. So let's do a small one and then we'll do a bigger one. Like I said, there's no template for this. Everybody just kind of cut their own. So there wasn't a right or wrong way. So you've got all these pieces. So you need a total of 6. And then I'm going to bring this piece back in and then we're just going to piece it together. Like we're going to take 3 pieces. So I need this one, and this one. So I took every other one. So we'll put these aside. And let me get my glue. So how you're going to do this is you're just going to take this piece and line it up right here with on the white cardstock. You're kind of like using that as your template to make sure that you get it in the same place you need it. So this design is going to match up with the bottom of that card stock piece there. Okay. Oh, see, I'm off a little bit. Okay. So see how those flowers and the petals are all lining up there? Same with this one. So I'm going to put some adhesive on there and get an idea of where this goes. So it is right there. Okay. Sorry, it's like a little surgery, like just so precise there. You got to get that in there, match it back up. Okay, then let's drop this down. Let me see where this one goes. Okay, this one is lining up with that blossom. can kind of see as you're positioning it, like, okay, I'm in the ballpark here. Just, but yeah. Okay. Oh, super cute. Okay. All right. This technique is so fun. I mean, it's just you can do this with any color and really have your just you have a background stamp, some black ink, and cardstock. You're good to go. So I'm going to take my pool party cardstock, fold that in half, and come in with my bone folder. So then I'm going to go ahead and this is cut so that it just barely fits on that. When I originally did this, it was like white on white, and I just wanted that little pop of color, that pool party coming from behind there. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to take it down the side so we can get those sides fastened. Okay, there we go. Position that on there. And then I need to come in with my detail die. I probably should have fastened this on to begin with at the beginning. So it would have taken a little time to adhere itself to it. So I'm just going to take some liquid glue, and I really should have grabbed a sponge, but I'm using my silicone mat. So if I go over an excess, not a big deal. This mat will clean up really well. If you don't have one of these for your crafting supplies, you definitely should invest in one. I think they're like $6. Super inexpensive, and you can put ink on here and use it for watercoloring, like to pull your ink from. You can do things like this where there's like a lot of detail and adhesive. And like me, you didn't remember to use your adhesive sheets, so there you go. Okay, and then let's put this on here. Okay, got that there. I'm going to press it down on my mat, which I'm not on camera there because I dropped it down. Okay, there we go. I love that black and white, like that pop of color. And then this is just going to be put flush onto the card. So we're just going to flip that over, and I'm going to put a little bit more adhesive on the back side. And flip that over, and let's see. Let me think. I have these all in the center, but I, I think I kind of want to offset this one a little bit. So I'm going to put it over here to the right. Yeah. Okay. And then I need to stamp, where did my layer go for my inside? There it is. I need to come back with some pool party ink. And we pulled that little flower out of that Inspiring Imperfection stamp set. And I thought this flower kind of complemented what we were doing there. So I was like, I'm going to grab that for a complementary image to this card since our big stamp is on the Stamparatus. Okay, let me clean that off. All right, so we have got, oops, well, hello, Christina, let's get that inside layer in there. What you doing, girl? Okay. Right, that inside layer in there. Sweet. And I'm going to take these and use these on another project. I'll probably do another background piece there. And this just so I can make a second card real quick. Like I said, everybody at class did that already. So we've got these fun cards with the color blocking technique. I mean, how fun is that? You just need a die cut in black to pop that sentiment, and you are like good to go. Okay, let me clear these things off and I'll come back with another project here. Okay, this next project that I'm going to share with you, we're just doing a little sending love. You can use this sentiment for a lot of different occasions. However, at class, because of the sentiments that I had available for them to choose, some ladies changed it up and made just completely different cards. But I'm going to do the sending love. And You can see we've got some beautiful embossing done on here. We're using this new vellum DSP, just a simple inside there, and a nice little fresh freesia ribbon. Okay, so I am going to share with you what we're using. So we're using, as far as sentiments at class, I had the banner punch, the triple banner punch out. So we use that. That's how we've got our banner on the front of the card. Then this is the banner saying stamp set, which is a great all occasion little sentiments. They all fit in the punch, the little banner punch outs. Then the embossing folder that we're using is the Lazy Daisy embossing folder. This guy is back in stock, so grab it while you can. It wasn't in stock last month. I think we did it at class and then it was unavailable, but it is back in stock. So that's a beauty. And then I also have the prayers and promises, which is where I got the sending love out. But you can see there's a whole other bunch of sentiments in here that would be great for your card making and sharing sentiments and sending some love in the mail to people. The ink that I'm using is Fresh Freesia. And then this is the product of the month for May, and it was still available last I checked. So it is the Berry Botanical Vellum. It's a specialty paper, and you get 3 sheets of each four of these. So you've got this Fresh Freesia, like grid, platy kind of background, a Peaceful Pine that is just got little dots on it. I honestly, I haven't used this, but I think this is going to be beautiful for some Christmas cards. So I'm excited about that. Then we've got this one with the floral and greenery images. They're a little bit more spread apart, so you could fussy cut these if you wanted to put them on your projects. And then this is the piece that I used on the project. So you can see they look similar, but they're not. This is like the blossoms are all kind of merged together to make it a little fuller on the paper, where this is more spread apart that you can easily cut them. So that is a great value. Our specialty paper is usually $17. You can get this for $5 for the product of the month for May. Like I said, if you haven't ordered it, it's still going to be in your queue for your account, so you can go back and grab that if you'd like. So the supplies we're using, we've got our basic white envelope. We've got a piece of basic white cardstock that's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. Then I've gone ahead and embossed my basic white piece. And this one is, let's see, it is four. I was like, what am I trying to say? It's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So it's giving us just a very thin border around that card, you can see. Then I've got a piece of fresh freesia that is 3.25 by 3.25 square. I've got another piece of fresh freesia that is 2.25 by 4.25. Then I've got a piece of that fresh freesia specialty vellum that is 2 by 4. And another piece of the blossoms and little berries on there, and that is 3 by 3 inches square. And then we've got a strip for our sentiment. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and start by folding that card base in half. And sorry. I feel like I'm apologizing like all the time on this video because I'm trying to stay on the camera site, but I'm like, good gracious, I'm like, keep going off camera. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put, let's see, yeah. Sorry, I was having a thought like kind of outside my head. I was like, oh, I didn't get anything to stamp on the inside here, but that's all right. So this is going to go just on the front of the card. Like I said, your margin is going to be super thin there. And then I'm going to use my snail, or not my snail, my Stamp and Seal adhesive. Now, because this is a colored vellum, I felt like I could use some adhesive. Typically, you can see through the vellum. You're going to see your adhesive. But because this one has these bright, deep colors on it, what I did was flip it over and I just went and put my adhesive kind of like where there were flowers. And I'm like, you're not going to be able to see it. So I did that on the square piece. And then you're just going to layer that. So with the vellum and the dark colors, you can just be able to put your adhesive there. Now for this one, what I did, because we're going to be layering over top of this, I put my adhesive just in here. It's vellum, so like it's not going anywhere. It's not like a super heavy paper that you're going to be like, oh, that's not tacked down and the card's going to fall apart. No, it's fine. Okay, so I just put some adhesive right there in the center to my right. So kind of like right in this area because I'm going to cover over it. So you're not even going to be able to see that there's adhesive there. And I'm going to come in with my liquid adhesive because I'm going on with an embossing folder and I want to make sure that kind of like permeates all those nooks and crannies. And I'm just going to put this closer to my left side margin to my fold of this card. And then this one I'm going to put on with some dimensionals. So we'll give that a little lift. And there we go. So take those little guys off. Okay, did I get them off? Yeah. If I feel them, and I can tell if I'm like, oh yeah, you got them on, Christina. Okay. And then I'm gonna go ahead and kind of put that more towards the right side. Press that in place. Okay, and I um need my sentiment. I had a thought. I was like, oh, I know what I'm gonna do to the envelope. I'm gonna emboss it. So we're gonna circle back to that, but yeah, so I'm gonna do sending love. Stamp that right in the center there. Let me clean that stamp off. And then I'm gonna come in with my punch, use that upside down. See if I can do this. Let's see. I'm left-handed, so I'm trying to do this with my right hand. Okay. Perfect. All right, and we're gonna put that on with some dimensionals too. I'm gonna use the mini dimensionals. They are slightly just like a little bit more of a lower profile than our regular full-size dimensionals. Not huge. I mean, you're talking like, I don't know, probably just like a minuscule, like uh less height. It's nothing major. And then I'm gonna put that about right there, I think. Okay. And then I need to tie a bow, but let me um okay, I can't get my, sorry, I was having trouble getting that ink pad. Oh my gosh, this is even more reassurance of like the new ink pads are so much better because you don't have to struggle with that. Okay, let me get my ribbon, bow cutter. Okay, I am gonna emboss this flap with this embossing folder. So let me do that and I'll come right back. Okay, look, I embossed the flap. Okay, I love this. This was just like a last minute, like, oh, let's do that. That is so beautiful. If I do say so myself. Anyway, all right. Let me show you how to tie this bow. So I'm using my bow maker here. My husband makes these and they're great for tying bows if you struggle with your fingers and getting like little bows tied. So when I'm trying to make a little bow like this little guy on this card, which I did all the little bows for everyone in class. So the ladies love that. I'm going to go ahead. I'm left-handed. So for me, I bring the tail around to the right, take it around the back of the nails, cross it over my tail, and then take that tail up, over, and around, and then tie those two. Okay. Give it a little squeeze before you take those nails off. Okay. So I've got my adorable little bow. And then I'm going to bring in my little ribbon scissors. Take that a little there. And then you've got that adorable little bow. So cute, so delicate. And like I said, I do have my glue dots over here, so we're gonna do a little bit of um, stamp and seal. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and put my bow right on it. So I think that's gonna get it easier. There we go. Did I get it? No, I didn't. There we go. You would have thought I would have got the glue dots when I was off camera, but I did not. Okay. Position. All right. So there is our third project. So we've got beautiful sending love card with that wonderful designer series paper. All right, let me get these things out of the way and I'll come back with our last project. Okay, are you still with me? All right, we're on our last project here. This one is featuring the Lily of the Valley products, and I just love that suite of products. And this is featuring the Lily of the Valley with just a touch of one color. Well, I mean, you do have the black and the white, but those are kind of neutral. So we just had one color, the new cantaloupe, crisp cantaloupe, I mean. And let me share with you what we are using to create this project. Okay, so first we're featuring the Lily of the Valley stamp set and dies. So you've got these beautiful images in the stamp set, and then some great sentiments, which there we go. You can kind of see them a little bit better on camera. So you've got those four, and then you've got happy birthday and a little thanks as well. And then you've got these dies that work with the stamped images, these solid ones, and then you've got some detailed images too. Beautiful set of dies. This is currently, at least when I last checked, was not available, but it is coming back in stock. So when it does, grab it. We're also using the stylish stitch shapes, which are super popular. A lot of crafters have them. I'm sure you've got them. We're using the third largest circle right here. I've got my neutrals essentials pack of twine, which we use the basic black out of. It's great because you do get 5 different colors. In there, you get like the crumb cake, the beige, white, and I think the one's gray granite, and then black. We're using our water painters. So let me grab the one out of there. You can use any size you want. I'm going to use this one here. I'm also using the floral spray embossing folder. This is part of that Lily of the Valley suite. This last I checked is not available. Hugely popular. Again, watch for it. Put it if you go in your Stampin' Rewards account and you put in floral spray embossing folder, it will allow you to enter, sign up that you want a notification when it comes back in stock, and Stampin' Up will notify you. Okay. We are using Stamparatus again. Yes, I have multiple ones. I love this product again. If you don't have a stamp positioner, invest in one. They are a great, great tool. So we're using that. Lastly, we've got the designer series paper here. This is our 2026-2028 in color painted patterns designer series paper. So in the pack, you get all 5 new in colors and you get 4 sheets of each color. So a total of 20 sheets, and I believe it's $19. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. That's what I want to say. So obviously I use the polka dots on this one, but you get this striped pattern, which on the back side of it is this striped pattern, like a watercolor wash one. And then the polka dots, you get these really large ones or the little ones, which I use the little ones on this project. So that's only why I have this little sheet left. So great pack of paper and excellent for all your crafting needs. So let me share with you the supplies that we're using. So we've got our basic white envelope. We've got a piece of crisp cantaloupe that's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. We've got a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5.25. And then another piece of basic white that is 3.5 by 5. We've got our piece of DSP that is 1 inch by 5.25. And then I have gone ahead and die cut all of our images that we're going to use out. I mean, all of our dies that we're going to use out. So you didn't have to watch me do that. These dies come out very easily. Just surprisingly, you'd think, okay, they're so detailed. No, it's going to be a problem. Honestly, they came out. I can't even tell you how many of these Lily Valley I die cut for class. A lot. I did it while I was watching the NBA playoffs. So, it was like, it was good to keep me busy. Anyway, so we've got two of the detailed ones, then we've got two of the leaves all in white, and then we've got a piece that we are going to stamp. I've also got that stylish stitch circle for our sentiment already done, and I made myself a little twine knotted bow, so that is all set since you won't have to watch me do that one again either. Okay, so let me move these things aside. We're gonna first come in and do our stamparatus. And you know what? Hopefully I've set this one up right in the right place too, because this is live on YouTube. I mean, not really. I'm recording it, but you get what I'm saying. Okay. We'll figure it out together. It'll be okay. It's just paper, so there's always ways to solve it. So I made this template at class. So I die cut just out of a scrap piece of cardstock, the die, so that the ladies could just put their die cut piece in. And it just makes it easier so that when they're taking it through the cutting machine, if it slides or anything, they don't get frustrated. Like just put it in there and you're going to stamp. And we're using the Memento black ink. And we're going to see how this goes. See if I line this up somewhat decent. And we'll press that down and press that. Okay. Let's see the magic happen. Okay, that's not bad. I'm happy with that. We'll go with it. Let's see. Let me take this out. There we go. That looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that because I did not work to line it up before we started. And I had to clean everything up from class and um, reset it so I could do the video. Okay. So next what we want to do is color our little lily of the valley. Okay, so we're going to color that. So we're going to use our crisp cantaloupe and we're going to use one of our water painters. So you are there's like a little piece of cardstock on there. So there's a little place here where you can push to squeeze. Let me put it like that on camera. See, push to squeeze to get the water to come out. So I'm going to give that a little squeeze. And then I'm just going to take my water painter and touch my ink pad with it. And I'm just going to gently touch those blossoms. Just adding a little bit of color. That's why you just want to gently touch with the water. You don't want it to be very like excessively watery because then it's going to blur outside your little lily blossoms. And you won't be happy with the results. Okay. You can go back and just kind of touch where you need a little bit more color. So then I'm just going to take this and grab my little scrap paper and just swipe it off to get that color out of there. And I'm done with that. Let me shut that. Okay. So we're going to just let that set aside. I'll leave that open because I do need to do a little bit more stamping. Just put my hand right in the Memento black ink pad. So let me just use my chamois to clean that off. Okay. All right. Let's come back to our card base. We're going to fold it at that score mark and flatten that crease with our foam folder. And come in with our DSP. Now you could use the larger dots if you wanted to. I just prefer the smaller because I like a little bit more color there. I want the delicateness of the tiny dots. So I'm just going to put my adhesive there and put that right up against the edge of that white layer. Again, that liquid adhesive allows me a little time to kind of play with that and determine where I want it. Okay, let's do our stamping so that way we can put our ink pads away so I don't set my hand in it again. Okay, so I have chosen the To a Forever Kind of Friend. I think you could send this to any kind of friend that you have. I mean, you make a friend, who would you not want them to be a friend forever? I mean, I would. Who doesn't need friends, you know? I love all my friends. Oh my gosh. Just do. They're so dear to me. So stamp that. Okay. And then I didn't put, so on this one I put to a forever kind of friend. I didn't put a sentiment inside, but I'm gonna make it a happy birthday one. So I'm gonna be like, you're a forever kind of friend. I'm saying happy birthday. So I grabbed the happy birthday sentiment from that Lily of the Valley stamp. And I'm gonna ink that with the crisp cantaloupe. Okay. And then come in with that Lily of the Valley image from our stamp set too, and put that little delicateness right there in the corner. So cute. So, so pretty. I'm going to do one on the envelope in the back. And then, of course, right in our corner to make it all so amazing. Okay, let's go ahead and shut those ink pads before I put my hand in one. Okay. All right, so we've got our envelope there. We've got our pieces. Let's bring this back in. And we're ready to go ahead and start assembling this card and build this beautiful card right up with all this bouquet of floral loveliness. My gardens are like in full bloom. Oh my gosh. I mean, along with the gardens, the flowers comes the weeds because you're just like, I might be out there every other day working in them and messing with them. And then I'll just like, there'll be a weed that's like 2 foot tall. And I'm like, how come I didn't see that? But they are very lush, and I was excited about the rain that we got um, over the weekend because we really needed it. Like it's only June. We don't need to have everything crispy like things look like come August. You know what I mean? Here in Northeast Ohio. Okay, got all these pieces. So now we're going to kind of go and build. Let me bring this in here. So I'm just building my layers. Now this is white on white. I just loved the delicateness of this and the texture. So I'm going to change it up a little bit and I'm going to put one of my white lily of the valleys over here. So bear with me here. We're just going to kind of go with it. So I'm going to put just a dot of glue on each one of these little flowers. Okay. So I'm going to take and put this one over here. So we're going to see a little more pop of those little lily of the valley stems. I'm just doing this on the fly. So we're going to see how this works out. It may not go how I think it will, and that's okay. So trying to think how I want to do this. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna put this one back there. It's part of the creative process. I just kind of like change it up as I go. They say that's a creating on the fly. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I'm gonna put this one right about there. So I can get that texture of those blossoms right on top of those leaves. And I'm gonna put this one in between. Yeah. Did I put that on with dimensionals? I did. Okay, look, I put this one on with dimensionals. So let's come in with some little minis. And it would work better if I actually had the minis, but I've used them all. So we're going to improvise and see how this works. Okay. Oh, those will kind of fit. I can kind of put them, and then on the little sides. That'll work. I can get them unstuck from my fingers. Okay. Okay, I thought I had another one there and okay. All right, so let me get all the little papers off of these guys. I'm gonna just come over to the side here so I don't get all the little papers in my work area. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry about that, but I was gonna clutter up my work surface if I took all those little tabs off of there. So then I'm just gonna put this one like this. Okay. Then I need to tuck these two leaves in here. And I think I'm going to end up cutting just the stem off a little bit because I don't want that peeking through on my sentiment. So just determine how you want your leaves to go. I'm going to do mine like this. Okay. And I'm actually going to tuck them back behind that stamped one. You can do however you might like yourself as well. If you've got a craft along kit to go and you're doing this at home, let's see. Create as you wish. Drop that down a little bit. Okay. And then my sentiment I have on with some dimensionals as well. And that's just a small circle, so I only need the two. Okay. Oh, that's so cute. I just love this. Okay, and then, oh, you'd have thought I would have grabbed some glue dots. Remember earlier when I was struggling so much with that? Let's try this again. Let me see. There we go. I'm gonna put a little adhesive right there. So cute. Okay, put my cap back on that adhesive and move these things aside. Okay, so there is our last card. And I will bring all the other ones in for you to kind of take a peek at everything. Now, remember, if you see anything today that I used in today's class that you're like, you know what, I would like to have that as part of my creative supplies, you can go to my online store at stampingyoucrazy.stampinup.net. And if you have a rewards account, it's super easy to do to sign up for. But if you have a rewards account, you can earn 10% back on all your purchases to have rewards to use in the future. You're always welcome to message me. I'm happy to place the order for you if you live locally here in North Canton. Let's see if I can get all these three guys in here. Um, but yeah, so my goodness, that's everything we did today. That's a whole lot of creativity, isn't it? All right, let me flip the camera over here and I'll say so long to well, actually I don't need to do that. No, you probably don't need to see my face again. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you loved these beautiful projects. If you did your craft along kit at home, I hope you were happy with what you created and that you use those cards to send them out to send that paper sunshine and brighten somebody's day because that's truly, I think, what card making is all about is just creating these little pieces of artwork that then you can send your handwritten message inside to send that love in the mail to somebody. I think that can really lift someone up and brighten their day. So thank you so much for joining me today. We'll have classes coming up in July and all kinds of exciting creativity things. So until next time, happy stamping.